So, our initiative is called Accessible Cinema, and our main task is to make cinema accessible for blind and deaf people. We are using some specific different terms for accessible formats. First of all, sound descriptions. It's a format for blind people and visually impaired people. So actually, it's audio description and also extended subtitles for hearing impaired people or deaf people. What is called SDH or subtitles for different hearing impaired people. So what about me? I'm dealing with accessible cinema topic since 2016, 2017, and actually the first time when we did sound description for the movie, I could see that the documentary movie for the blind tandem bicyclists who just traveled through Ukraine and showing that everything could be and we could see. So it was a demand in Ukraine. We just did it by support of the community of blind people. And documentary movie, of course, should have been done also for with access for people with visual impairments and blind people. So we searched for the specialist who could be engaged in our team. We found Andrei Denchuk. He's a professor of Lviv Polytechnica who just presented a viva on the given topic. And in cooperation with Yulia Savchuk, we also initiated this idea of accessible cinema. As of now, this is an initiative that has been working within the community fight for rights of people with disabilities. And our main mission is to make everything that for exercisement of rights of people with disabilities. So we are working for the sake of accessibility of the cinema, and for us the most important thing is the following: that accessibility of the cinema should be within the scope of exercisement of rights of people with limited abilities. So that's for us an important step towards accessibility in general of the cinema and in general of the visual art. So I'm going to share more information about technical solutions. Why actually did we need them and how we managed to solve those problems and achieve them. Prior to the sound description, the challenge appeared how to show them for the general public, and as our main value as human rights, we understood that to arrange some specific events for deaf or blind people where they could come, listen, watch, hear some specific movies. That's beyond the inclusion approach, which should, because it would ensure some segregation from the people, from general public and of people with disabilities. For us, it was of high importance that deaf or blind people could come to any cinema in any city or town of Ukraine and watch any movie without any external support. So it should be an option available for anyone, and the possibility to watch a movie, possibility to be engaged in the cultural life of Ukraine. We started to analyze this case, and we understood that our Ukrainian cinemas don't have any technical opportunities in order to just provide this additional sound description track for all the cinemas around Ukraine. And of course, they have some profound reasons for it, because actually such equipment for these solutions is very expensive. For example, in many states of the USA, in some countries of Europe, they use systems for asynchronous translation in order just to provide a specific separate track for sound description. And by this way, blind people receive specific headsets prior to the start of the screening, and they return them afterwards. But that's actually an unreliable system because it's not hygienic. There could be a lot of technical problems with the headsets. And it's not cost reliable and cost effective for the cinemas itself. So that's why we started to search for a new solution. And the first movie we tried to implement our solution was The Price of Trust. And that was a first movie in Ukraine available for deaf and blind people from the first day of its release on the Ukrainian market. It means that it was available for all the people in all the cinemas where the release of this movie appeared. The only thing that people needed was a smartphone, and it doesn't matter whether it's Android or iOS version. So, as to the mobile solutions, we found a best and optimal solution that exist right now on the globe market. So these are two different mobile applications, Earcatch and Subcatch. Now I suggest just for you to take your smartphones, just visit Google Store or App Store and find either of these applications, Earcatch and Subcatch, and please download any of them. Now I'm going to close my screen in order to watch what you are doing, and then we will continue our presentation and I will share my screen again. Actually, we need just a few minutes to download it. Have you managed to find any of these mobile applications in Google Store or Apple Store? Maybe do you have any problems? So there is a yellow letter E on the black background. Yeah, exactly. Actually, one more detail. While you are downloading, if your mobile phone has Ukrainian settings by default, then Earcatch will be in Ukrainian language also. But if by default the settings of your smartphone are in another language, then the menu of Earcatch will be in the English language also. So, have you managed to Earcatch? If yes, please open it. There you could see, if you just press the plus icon, there you could see the list of movies to which sound descriptions have been created. And so the mobile application has been downloaded, and all those movies you could watch in the cinemas, both online or offline, on TV, in the open space, and different festivals. So it doesn't matter where you would like to watch those movies. From amongst the recent movies that you could watch in the cinemas, for example, that's a Pulse movie, and I'm going to share with you a little bit further how to watch it. Everything is very easy. Have you managed to download it? Could you see it? Yes, great. Then, with this application, I invite you to go to any cinema where right now there is a release of the Pulse movie. So I really hope that going to any cinema, you would see there this movie and you will be able to watch it using this application. Using this application, you will receive a specific sound description track in your headset. And that's actually the main innovation for blind people and deaf people to watch these movies in the cinemas, during the festivals, and any other places. And it means that they don't need to buy any highly expensive equipment. What they need only to have this application and download the sound description track into this application, and any person could use it. The same method is applied for deaf people, and application for them is called Subcatch. But how it works is actually the same. Now I'm going back to my screen. Please wait a second.
So, we have two mobile applications, and immediately I want to point why we have two, but not one. Just not to misconcept, because all movies with the sound recording also have the subtitle, and also, there is a story with this subtitle. In our opinion, the best decision or solution for not hearing people will be a widespread subtitle on the cinema. So, as far as I understand, there have been changes to the law in Ukraine, and a subtitling should be in all cinemas of Ukraine. So, this solution with subtitling, with subcatch applications, they're not absolutely ideal for people with hearing disabilities. But it might be an option for them to watch movie, and not a poor one. But once the subtitling is on the screen, we do support that. Therefore, people with blind disabilities will be able to watch movies. So, Earcatch application is absolutely free for the people with blind disabilities. And since you have these applications, you will be able to watch this movie anywhere. And for example, first you can see the movie on the festival, and once this movie is in these applications, you will be able to watch this movie immediately through this Earcatch, both on cinema or on the TV. With any circumstances you are located. And of course, our application is so easy to use for the hearing impaired people, and everything is absolutely comfortable. There might be several technical difficulties. In particular, you need to make sure that the mic of your phone is not covered with something, and your phone is able actually to hear the movie, so to say. And this sound description is created in line with the movie. So you need to watch your movie simultaneously in order to have this opportunity to watch it. And in order to watch the movie in the available format, first you need to buy a ticket to come and to sit. And once a movie is starting to be broadcasting in the cinema, for example, you need to start to launch your applications. Here we have this Shazam system, and the application catches actually the void audio, and then the synchronization comes. So it allows it to come and to go back from the cinema, and there is no need particular that you can actually lose something and lose this opportunity to listen to the movie simultaneously through this application. In order to synchronize with the mobile applications, you actually need only 30 seconds, and it really depends on this film captioning it is going on the screen, and you simply need to wait a bit, and then the application will start working. Very important, this application works without the internet connection, because it is often of the case when there is no internet connection in the cinema. So it is no longer a problem because all these files they have been downloaded before and during this movie broadcasting. All these files are being simply launching and available for you. So I would like to start my video. It is going to be a trailer, and here you will be able to see this audio subscription and subtitling. The cinema is becoming accessible for anyone, for the people with hearing impaired and with the Subcatch. You can use it on the App Store. So audio descriptions and subtitles have been created in support of Oshut Bank. Just look at the Pulse movie and the movies. Music and Mother, I have dream. I know very good how many people are getting awards. We are ready. Oksana finishing the first. You are going to reach the Olympic Games. We will see each other in the United States. Oksana actually had an accident, and ophthalmologist is examining our hearing. Now we can see the titles. Oksana is crying. I have a championship soon. She lives with a kind of half-learned dreams. Then Oksana is visiting a doctor. You need to have disabilities, but not to sport. Oksana is doing sports. The disabled people shouldn't be with us in one stadium. I'm going to run. Do you want it or not? Oksana falls down on the running road. So, well done. Are you elastic or not? This story is based on a real one. Just give me a chance. You do have this chance. Just shut out. Don't wait. You are my sister, and you know that I'm not going to manage it. Oksana, okay, is kissing with a handsome man. Just live, dream. Oksana is running. Oksana, tell me please, why are you running? When I'm running, I do feel alive. Pulse titles film UAE in the cinemas from the 22nd of July. Live and overcome difficulties. Well, thank you so much. Now I'm inviting you to visit this wonderful movie, and you will be able to test this technical decision we have applied, and to watch this movie with the audio description is an absolutely brand new experience, even if you are out of this hearing impaired disabilities, and you will be able to watch this movie on the cinemas. I would like also to give the floor to you. Maybe you do have questions. And thank you so much, Viktoriya. It was we were so excited to hear these new methods available on our market. And as far as I know, they existed even before, but it was not an easy thing to find them online, especially for the people with disabilities, for hearing impaired and blind impaired. And we are going to talk about that later on our topic on accessibility. And as a moderator, I would like to ask the very first question to you. In your applications, are you going to include there only your developed things based on your private initiatives, or other? Because you know there was an Ukrainian movie which was not allowed to watch with the subtitles, and there is a chance to simply promote this movie. So are we going to have further foreign movies? So absolutely, we are absolutely ready. If you want to have our movie and our applications, we are ready. And and of course, several movies are already available on our application. And I would also like to add several words about the online spreading. And here there is a fundamental differences with our initiatives, because we do think that the value here is to watch the movie with other people, not being separated from the general trends. So movies should become accessible, which are being broadcasted on the cinema, which are well discussed and well welcomed. For example, we did the audio description for the Ukrainian classic movie, and here we have an example about the accessibility of our Ukrainian legacy, and it is so important to be able to watch the movie in the available format for all people, to make people available an up-to-date movie for everyone. I have a certain technical question. One of the last movie you have added to Earcatch, it is world cinema classic, it is Harry Potter, but there are several versions of this movie, and once a person is watching the full version in Ukrainian, is the Earcatch going to capture this particular episode? As for the Madagascar and Gary Mover, these movies were created in cooperation, and the audio description here is prepared for the translation Ukrainian, and the Sweet Cinema has the right for it. And we do not recommend to use our application with one and the same movies, but in other versions, because in this manner you will face kind of gaps, mistakes, and it is not going to be comfortable till the end. So now it's clear, and maybe our auditory has questions. Let me stand up. So thank you so much for your presentations. I have one question. I do understand how to work with a subtitle, because a translator is actually doing that. But who is doing this audio description? I mean that hearing stands up or falls down. Is it a job of a translator? We have a team, we are cooperating together, so these people have been through a specialized training, and it is true art, and it is important to understand the language and to follow the rules on how to describe, in order to allow people with hearing impaired to watch this movie clearly and easily. And there is a need for professional experts, and these people might not be even translators, but with a certain specific training on how to describe, how to do all these audio descriptions in order to maintain this link and connection with hearing impaired, for example, people, because in this manner you will understand how to do your job properly. And as our organization works directly with these auditory, so we are facing no problems with that. And one of the major elements in our work on audio decision is approbation with the written text. And we are doing this job together with a consultancy. So we are very serious on the quality towards the final text. And so here we have different issues, so to say. For example, how to describe and what particular should be described, because there are different approaches, even in scientific ones, in terms of how heroes are looking like. And so it is a real complex and systematic job. Thank you so much. We have another question. Thank you so much for your presentation. I have the following question. Now we have this application where subtitling have been added with the subtitlings created by translators. But YouTube has the option of auto-generated subtitling. So, is there a chance to actually download external resources? I mean, for example, the YouTube. It would be a very nice idea, but our application does not have, because the primary goal of it is to be available for the cinemas. So currently, it is so good that we have several tools for different platforms, but it is so hard to combine them and to apply them all together. We see no sense in it whatsoever. Good afternoon, Victoria. I have a question. Have you tried to cooperate with this streaming platform, for example, Netflix? We heard Netflix has the English audio description next to the subtitles. So have you offered them any type of cooperation? Because you have well-prepared material. So thank you so much for your question. No, we haven't. So, if you have any contacts, how to connect with them, how to introduce yourselves, so we would be excited to introduce ourselves, and we are working with the CTV in Ukrainian, and here you can also watch the movies the way Netflix does, and to watch the movies created already there. And can you please share the plans for the future? Because as I travel, I can see that in different countries there are different channels with audio description. But here in our modern Ukraine, we have very few movies, and we have very abundant number of TV shows without any audio descriptions. And indeed, we have such a big dream and ambition to have all the movies being broadcasted on the medium, to have them with subtitling and audio description. And our first TV show available for the hearing impaired people was available for people with Earcatch application.
And also for us, it's very important to work with the TV content, because by this way we could expand our audience, because not all these people would like to go to the cinema or have enough funds to go. So, but anyway, right now TV is quite accessible for population getting audiovisual content. That's why we would like all the TV series and movies that being produced in Ukraine voiced over and dubbed in in Ukraine, that they could be available for deaf and blind people immediately after release. Do you work with any standards of sound description in Ukraine? In order for all sound description tracks that could be added to your application would correspond to your standards and some provisions. So actually, yes. For example, we don't have a specific elaborated document or approved criteria or approved and agreed rules, just our internal documents. But as we are cooperating with a Dutch company, and this company is our partner, and talk with other partners who are the producers of mobile applications, or professionals on the Dutch market. So, of course, they share our experience, and by their recommendations, we develop some joint documents and outcomes. And, of course, using their experience and best practices, we develop such documents. So, in a nutshell, we have our internal standards of work, but as that's an issue of audiovisual translation, whether there are some universal principles and rules that could be applied by all the translators. I think that's a very complicated question. Are there any questions left from the audience? If no, then I would like to ask you the final questions. Do you participate in the lobbying of a draft law that stipulates adding of sound description for all the cinemas and series? Yes, actually we participate in the working groups of a draft law that has been approved for some subsidies for vets for those movies that are also available in the accessible format. And I think these provisions will be enforced since 2023. And it was initiated by the Committee of Verkhovna Rada on Cinema and Broadcasting. We were among initiators of this draft law and were involved with all our maximum efforts, doing our best in its discussions and deliberations. So next, our goal is to promote the production of movies by the state fund. So I mean by the orders of the state cinema organization. They should be available in the accessible format already in the stage of production. And actually it's quite a common practice in the European countries, and it also promotes very active and accessible format of movies in different countries. For example, such a movie as Donbass that has been produced within cooperation of Ukraine and Germany had a sound description of German language earlier than actually the Ukrainian sound description track and sound description dubbing, because by the agreement they had to do it even earlier, and they did it. So thank you very much. Thank you, Viktoriya. We wish you all the inspiration. We wish you all the best. We will meet together with you during the panel discussion around noon. So thank you very much.